the best, you got them four abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the world of Outlaws.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're making iSpot TV part of your day. We would thank you so much for joining us along here at Volusia Speedway Park, Barberville, Florida, as we host round number 5 of the World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Car Series here on iRacing. Hello, everyone. I'm Cam Walsh. That's Randy Chenworth. That's Hugo Louis in the production. As always, qualifying underway, so you're not missing a thing. But, Randy, it has been an absolutely fantastic week in dirt motorsport, and well, we'll see what we can do here on a Monday here at Volusia.
Don't mention Super Dirt Week 3 times in the mirror, otherwise Cam will appear in your bathroom. But you're right, Cam. It's been a pretty big week, and it's gonna be an interesting night of racing here today. We've seen some interesting racing this season. The tracks have, just generally speaking, every single week been getting slicker and slicker than anything we've seen in past seasons, and I think Volusia we're seeing the same. The actual starting state of the circuit isn't too bad. As these cars go over and change the track state during qualifying, that middle groove in 1 and 2 is pretty slick, and it's be interesting to watch because 1 and 2 is slick everywhere up until about the top. 3 and 4, there's a lot of room to run, but on the entry and exit of the corner specifically, it gets pretty slick for these guys.
Yeah, speaking of pretty slick, Howard Weaver just ended up having an accident on his qualifying run, so I'm not sure if Howard Weaver's going to be able to put in a lap. I think he might be out of time for that yet, so Howard Weaver, he's going to be starting way in the back. But yeah, Volusia Speedway Park, of course, it's a half mile here at Barberville, Florida, and either way, looking like right now Austin Semmelman might make it on pole. We've only got Tim Ryan waiting on his qualifying. He's only got one more lap to do. That number 4 car goes across the start-finish line. 14.381, that will be good enough to put him on pole.
And that's going to be good for him. So Tim Ryan, going to be interesting to see what he does here, up on that pole position by a couple hundredths of a second over Austin Semmelman. It's actually been something interesting that we've seen this season. We've used to in the past. We've gotten sort of accustomed to seeing Austin Semmelman really dominate these races from the front, but that might be changing here today.
Yeah, we'll see. Either way, let us take a look at our starting grid here from Volusia Speedway Park for round number 5 of the World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Car Series. It's Tim Ryan, that number 400 car. He is going to be starting in the first position. 13.481 will be his time. Austin Semmelman starts in second. 13.5. Lewis Hewitt will be starting in the third position with 13.5. Nick Cooper will start fourth. Ricky J. Sanders, he'll be starting from the 5th position. Jack Goodyear, he'll be starting in 6th position. Alex Bergeron, he's in 7th. Stephen Renaud in 8th. Jason Brown in 9th. Kevin Holly, he's qualifying woes continue. He's back down in 10th position. Dylan Semmelman, he's in 11th. Bradley Cash in 12th. And Howard Weaver, he's not going to have a good one. The only one that did not put in a qualifying time due to his incident, which means that he is going to have a very long road ahead of him. Randy, you're going to Volusia here. It's a bowl. We'll see what they can do. I mean, for anyone in the back, it's going to be tough moving.
Yeah, I mean, Volusia we've seen so often be really difficult here, but I'm still really excited. If we can get a bunch of clean racing and we can get a handful of green flag laps, I think this surface is going to slicken off. I think the top side of the racetrack, generally speaking, just the way the corners are actually worn in at the starting state, the top side is going to be quick. But actually getting there is going to be difficult because if you look at the entry of these corners, both going into 1 and into 3, it's pretty much slick all the way to the entry of the corner, and that to me is going to give people some options. It's going in, normally you see the reason that, the top side gets so strong is the fact that you can just kick that right rear tire on a little bit of a tacky patch as you enter the corner. If you look as they roll off right now, all the way up against the wall to the entry of 1, slick.
Yeah, slick indeed. Entry, as you're saying, it is going to be a challenge. I'm a bit worried Volusia typically has cautions. We'll see as we're following behind the iRacing safety-based truck around Volusia Speedway Park what we can manage here. Tim Ryan doing what he always does, backs off far enough away that I would consider it be a song from The Grinch That Stole Christmas. That's how far away he is. But far more than 11.5-foot pole, or whatever that was. Hey, it's a reach, but it works. But either way, that number 4 sprint car, that 410
12.5-foot pole to reach that
12.5? Yeah, I know, right? Either way, Austin Silverman, he's going to find himself on the outside. It's going to be interesting to see which line is going to work. I think Tim Ryan, he's probably going to take the green, immediately jump as soon as he hits the apex 3 and 4 and try to cut off Austin Silverman. We'll see how that works. I think we'll see pretty much the entirety of the 13-car crowd do that. iRacing safety truck, wondering where everybody is. He's going to be pulling in right now to the safety of pit lane, which leaves it just to Tim Ryan, that blue and black Logitech 410 wing sprint car. Where will he go? Will it be as soon as he can? No, he'll give it a 1-second count, 2-second count, 3-second count, he goes. Austin Silverman actually does a really good job of counting. And Tim Ryan, he actually tacks the outside wall. There's one car, Lewis Hewitt, he's finding himself in trouble.
We got Bradley Cash on his lid in 1 and 2. I'm not sure how there's not going to be a caution, but we're going to stay green. Bradley Cash ended up on his lid, but Tim Ryan, he will retain your race lead for now. You're absolutely right about the start of this race here, Cam. The fact that Austin Silverman did a fantastic job of predicting the start here from that ERT driver. So Austin Silverman, he will still roll off. And you see the run in the middle of the racetrack here to 3 and 4. The fast line, though, 1 and 2, much higher up. And you see Silverman all the way up, almost on the shelf, as he tries to fight with Nick Cooper and retain that second spot.
Yeah, I mean, the marshals were asleep for just long enough, but I appreciate that. But either way, Tim Ryan, though, he's doing what he can to stay up front. That car does not look comfortable. Austin Silverman seems to be a little bit more hooked up. That's not to say, though, that Tim Ryan's lap times aren't quick, as Nick Cooper finds himself in 3rd position with Lewis Hewitt. He's got a long way to go after that early half spin that he did going into 1 and 2. And the car behind him is that number 8 car, Steven Renaud. He's not happy to be back there either.
Well, he started back there. He just clipped the wall entering corner number 3. So Steven Renaud in the 8. Even if he wasn't happy before, he's going to be fuming now as they roll off into the 1st and 2nd corner. But the fight for your race lead gets ever and ever closer. Silverman has brought that gap down to within 0.2 of a second. I dare say it'll be even closer as they cross the stripe. Actually, no, it's going to stay identical. So pretty much identical times coming from those two. Actually, identical times for those two that last time through. But it seems to be the top 2 fighting hard. We've got a long green flag run here at Volusia, Cam. I think this clean surface, giving people less options, but keeping the racing more clean.
It's getting ever closer between 1 and 2. Little bit of a divot starting right between the entry of 1 and going into the entry to 1. There's a divot right in front of the starter stand. Let's see if that won't do anything. As Tim Ryan finds himself right ahead of Austin Silverman, which allows Nick Cooper to pull in. So it's 1, 2, 3, and broken away from the rest of the field. As Tim Ryan, he's just going to keep that high side to himself. He's running kind of a hybrid middle line high side, and he actually has a big slapper going through, and Austin Silverman looks to go to the inside, but no, it's slick.
Yeah, Silverman looked down to the inside to try to take advantage of the momentum that Tim Ryan lost, but no grip down there just yet. Well, it's not that there's no grip down there, it's the fact that there's too much grip along the top. That said, Tim Ryan, he's running an interesting line on the entry into 1, running a little bit tighter on the entry, and that definitely holds up his exit a little bit. Silverman, he actually exits a little bit wider on the corner. You watch as they come through now. He runs to the top side a little bit more quickly, and he gets a better drive off the corner. In terms of the lap times, I think it's roughly equal, but it's something to think about as this track surface changes, and Silverman goes to the slider in 3 and 4, gets the job done, but Tim Ryan turns it down to the bottom. He's going to have the race lead at the line by 0.03 of a second. Now Nick Cooper, as Tim Ryan gets turned, both of your leaders in the wall, and Nick Cooper is going to become your race leader as the first yellow of the night waves now.
Yeah, they're not going to be happy about that one. It looked to me, Tim Ryan, he pulled well to the inside. He was pulling the slider that Austin Silverman had pulled on him, only instead of going through 3 and 4, it was in 1 and 2. I think Austin Silverman, he was pretty comfortable up high, but he should have seen that coming.
I think it's pretty hard to say because that was just sort of one of those, maybe Silverman should have seen that coming, but I'm not sure if Tim really had the momentum to pull that off because he had to drive through the slick stuff coming off of 4, had to check up, and then he had to drive it down on the slick stuff through 1 and 2. I just flat out think that number 4 machine of VRT, he didn't have the momentum to pull off that move. I think, not much Silverman could really do there.
Well, what I'm saying in that he should have saw that coming is that he should have known that that car was no matter what going to be committing to that maneuver, and I think perhaps he would have, if he just realized, you know, he's going to slide me no matter what, I'm going to back off a little bit, and as both cars are actually parked next to each other in the pit lane now, that perhaps Austin Sullivan could have went to the inside or whatnot. But I will say though, on top of the fact that this changes everything, we're halfway through the race, and Nick Cooper finds himself going from 4th to 1st. Well, so he's going to have a restart on his hands.
It's gonna be interesting to see what happens, because if memory serves me right, we've not seen anyone win a race, on these Monday nights besides Tim Ryan and Austin Selman this season. I think Bergeron came close to snagging one, but I don't think he actually ended up closing one out. So I believe we're going to see a new winner this season for our Monday night broadcast, and it's good to see some new names up there. Nick Cooper, Ricky Sanders, they have a chance to pull off a win. Bergeron scratched his way from 7th up to 3rd. Jock Goodyear's in 4th. Another teammate to Tim Ryan. So it's going to be an interesting finish to this one, as Nick Cooper will command the field as the iRacing safety truck gets ready to pull on the pit lane.
Yeah, and actually it goes Christopher Bell, Alex Bergeron, then Tim Ryan, then Austin Selman. So we've actually had some pretty interesting finishes. But either way, Nick Cooper well to the inside. He'll pull away. The field would not look anything even remotely close to like what you would normally see for a double file restart, but they'll take it. Alex Bergeron, he's gone from 7th to 2nd just like that, and he's probably got some speed in him. Obviously, I don't think anyone had anything for Austin Selman and Tim Ryan except perhaps Nick Cooper, but we'll see what they can do here. We're going green at Volusia.
So as they work themselves now down the front straightaway, once again, Bergeron trying to close on the back of Cooper, and he's not quite there. We see him running a little bit higher up. That said, we got an ERT car in the wall a little bit further down the field. That was Jock Goodyear. He clipped the wall. He dropped a spot or two because of it.
Yeah, Nick Cooper sitting there comfortably in the lead right now. Alex Bergeron, where will he make the maneuver as Ricky Sanders has trouble going through corners 1 and 2? His exit was not good at all. Actually, that was 3 and 4. As Bergeron, he's closing in ever closer. 10 laps to go. Steven Renaud, he's happy. He's half where his starting position was. And for John Goodyear, he's sitting there now in 5th position as it is now Cooper, Bergeron, Sanders, Renaud, and Goodyear. Your top 5. And Bergeron, he's getting ever closer. Perhaps he's going to lead into the inside. That is what he'll do. He'll pull at least somewhat of a slide job. They'll make wheel-to-wheel contact. He is going to bully him out of the way for the lead.
Definitely questionable driving there by Bergeron. I don't think he nearly had the speed to pull that move up. And Nick Cooper, he's going to drop back to 3rd as Ricky Sanders wants 2nd spot. Now the 8 machine of Steven Renaud, he's going to throw a big move into 3 and 4. He can't make it stick, and he'll make contact with the ERT driver, Jock Goodyear. Big shuffling around other positions here. Just within 10 laps to go as Nick Cooper, after going back to 3rd or 4th, is already back to 2nd. But look at the lead that this is giving Bergeron as again Goodyear comes into contact with Sanders. Huge kerfuffle, but we're going to stay green as Lucas Hewitt, is going to get into it.
Everybody keeping their cars on the straight and narrow. All this does is allow Alex Bergeron to basically take the win. Nick Cooper, he's covering maybe a 2nd behind, but right now the battle going on for 3rd is that's where the action is at. Jock Goodyear, Ricky Sanders throwing it onto the inside, nothing in it. Steven Renaud looking to perhaps counter going out of the inside of him as they've got a couple of laps to go. Ricky Sanders pulling right in front of Steven Renaud, and Steven Renaud has to recover.
So we're coming up now on the last handful of laps here tonight at Volusia, and Alex Bergeron has stretched the gap to about a 2nd right now as the fight for 5th and 6th is really where all the interesting things are happening as your top 5 have gotten themselves spread out. But that said, the 3 machine makes a big mistake. He drives right up the racetrack in front of Jason Brown. Huge incident. I think we're going to end under yellow.
That's going to bring it out. Jason Brown, it was only a matter of time. They were playing conkers left and right, and it was only a matter of time, but Ricky Sanders, he was on the inside there. Jason Brown tried to go to the outside. Sanders didn't leave anything at all on the outside line. That was his position to take. Jason Brown, well, he had a disagreement about it, and he ended up going up the wall, up the catch fence, and almost around he went. Took a nice little shot there from Dylan Semmelman. But either way, though, for Alex Bergeron, he's going to sit there. It's what a weird race that he has had come to him here as we're going to be closing this out, I believe, under that safety truck. But, oh, man, what a crazy one that we've had here at Volusia. We normally have interesting ones, but, my goodness, this has been probably the top of the heap.
Yeah, that was an interesting race. You know, it started out really, really clean, and then once we got to, inside 10 laps to go, it was like everyone just flipped on the crazy switch. I think everyone, racing a little over their heads, trying to, I want 4th and not 5th. I think you know, a little bit more patience throughout the field would have gone a long way, and we would have been able to finish this one under green, and more people would have ended up with clean cars finishing at the end rather than crumple cars here and lost safety and iRating. But that said, still exciting racing, still what you want to see on the dirt stuff, but still some patience would have been a virtue.
It would have came in handy. I mean, once we hit 10 to go, these guys really started letting go. And they knew that positions were at stake with Tim Ryan and Austin Selmelman. I mean, arguably the two fast guys in the series were out. But either way, for Alex Bergeron, I mean, he has fast races and he doesn't have necessarily the fastest races. He's going to be happy with this one. Nick Cooper, what certainly could have been. I mean, he was pretty comfortable there until he had that battle with Ricky Sanders. And Sanders, he just really came in on him, and I think, honestly, that they almost lost that. But either way, Alex Bergeron sitting behind that safety truck. He will be crossing that start-finish line here at Volusia Speedway Park in Barberville, Florida. After 30 laps of running, he will be your winner after 9 minutes and 48 seconds of going. And Randy, a lot of things to talk about this race after it's done.
Yeah, I mean, it's undoubtedly been the most interesting Volusia race we've had thus far. You know, a lot of interesting things happening. You had the top two getting themselves into their incident, which, you know, you can talk about the fact that just thinking about this, Cam, I think the only driver we've seen pull off a clean and successful slide job has been Austin Selmelman all season. Everyone else, you know, people are having to get way out of the throttle, or they're, you know, making wheel-to-wheel contact, or potentially putting cars out of the race. I can't think of a time where Selmelman has dove his car to the inside and ended the race as a driver that he's trying to get by. He either makes the pass or he lifts out of it if he doesn't. We haven't seen that from a lot of other people this far this season.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult because I don't remember every single pass that's happened, nor have I seen every single pass that's happened, but it just seems to me that, yeah, as the fireworks kick off, or kicked off, I guess I should say, but either way, I mean, it's interesting to see how these guys were fighting Austin Selmelman. He tried to pull it, he almost had it done, and then Tim Ryan really just let it all go into the that corner, and well, it's an unfortunate accident between those two. I'm sure tempers will be going high, and we'll see them next week. That's what gets even better. But we're going to take a look at the results here from the World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Car Series from Volusia Speedway Park. 30 laps, 2 cautions, and 9 minutes of action. Alex Bergeron, he comes home with it after starting in 7th. Nick Cooper, he'll come home in 2nd position. Jack Goodyear will come home in the 3rd position. Stephen Renaud, 8th to 4th. Ricky Sanders, 5th to 5th. But the day was so much more interesting for him in spite of that. Howard Weaver, well, he started in 13th. He came home in 6th. Lewis Hewitt, he'll come home 7th. Dylan Selmelman in 8th. Kevin Holly in 9th. Bradley Cash, he's the one that had that incident early. He'll finish in 10th position. Jason Brown in 11th. Austin Selmelman in the 12th position. And Tim Ryan, he started in 1st. He'll finish in the last position after that incident with Austin Selmelman in 13th. But either way, I mean, we'll talk to the race winner right now, Alex Bergeron, and we'll get him in here. We'll get his take on all this here on Race Spot TV, iRacing Live, and of course, DirtVision.com. Alex Bergeron, congratulations on the win. So much more to go into it, though. Take me through it.
Yeah, I was once again, qualifying was pretty bad from my side. I didn't expect it to be again that far in the field, but we did a great comeback, and we're in 4th place after passing Jock, and we had a good run at Ricky afterwards, and good battle and very slick track where I love them. Just pretty awesome to be running on the cushion, especially at Volusia. We don't see that very often, so pretty happy about that. Good track. I was in 4th, and then was catching the front pack, had a fast car, and like the front pack my teammate just got taken out, so I was an accident. I mean, I feel bad for him. Was a good one tonight again for him, and well, we take the opportunity tonight and just trying to get a win for Team VLR, and we did. So also a great battle with Nick Cooper. Did a slide job. I was there. Just I think that's the racing incidents right there. Just I'm sorry, but I had to make it happen, and we did. So another win for us.
Yeah, and I mean, it's starting in 7th. Obviously, it wasn't going to be the great day, but taking the opportunities when you could get them. I believe, if I'm thinking off the top of my head, that next week we are probably going to Eldora. We'll have finished our circle, maybe. But either way, I mean, the racing this season, it's either been fantastic racing or racing under caution. And we haven't really seemed to be able to blend those two together, and I'm just not sure, perhaps, whenever we seem to have the track usage not that high, we seem to get the cautions, and whenever we seem to have super high usage, we seem to get more cleaner racing. Which surface do you prefer racing on, the more moderate stuff or the really worn-in stuff?
Oh, really slick stuff. I think that's the best part of dirt racing. It's just all about throttle control and everything that goes with it. Some slide jobs and, like I said, everything that goes with it, because I think that's the best part of dirt racing, because just so much action and less caution in iRacing, because like you cannot push the car to the limit unless you're on a tacky track where you can push a car like to the limit. You can do it on a slick track, but you cannot go full throttle in the corners. Like, it's pretty tough to do it. So that's why there's less caution, I think, on when it's very slick. But like tonight, we see one caution, I think, and that was pretty good racing. So
yeah, I had that really long 15-lap stint at the front of it. But either way, anyone you would like to give a thanks to before we let you go from Volusia? And yes, it is in fact Eldora.
Oh yeah, thanks everyone at Team VLR and Austin and my teammates for the help. And pretty sad tonight. We could have got a good battle, me and him tonight, up front, but it didn't win. It didn't win that way. But good run from him the last couple of days. And don't forget to check teamvlr.com for our league races. Pretty big races. UMP modified sprint cars, late model. Just take a look, guys. It's pretty awesome. And once again, thanks to all my sponsors and for you guys to make this possible every week to get on Dirt Vision and to get ourselves seen. That's pretty awesome. So thank you guys, and see you next week at Eldora.
Yeah, we'll see you, and thanks so much for hopping in and give us some of your time, Alex, and good luck tomorrow at Homestead.
Thank you.
So that was Alex Bergeron, your race winner here at Volusia Speedway Park. And Hugo, I think that is going to be about it. For myself, Cam Walsh, for Randy Chenoweth, for Hugo Louis, the entire team here at Race Spot TV, for iRacing Live, and of course for DirtVision.com. So happy you guys have us with you, and we will catch you all next time at Eldora Speedway. We always get good racing from the Big E. We'll see you there in 1 week's time. So have a good one, take care, and enjoy the rest of your night and the rest of your week. We'll catch you back here next time. So for all of us, Race Spot TV, see you later. Have a good one, and so long from Volusia.